Good morning, kiddos. As usual, if you like what you hear, hit the share button. If you love what you hear, hit the subscribe button. Helps me to do these a lot more of these, and of course, it's totally free. All right, let's get into it. The title of this rant is The Diversity Trap. And this one was written originally about 3 or 4 years ago, but I've not put it to video, so this is the first time I'm putting this one to video. It's going to be a little bit spicy because this diversity stupidity just makes my blood boil. So having said that, let's rock. So let me start with these whiny, sissified minorities and women who seem to always be crying about diversity in the workplace, or shall I call it the woke place. In my professional life, I used to conduct a lot of job interviews. I would just wince when brainwashed, sycophantic minorities and women would call asking if there were people at companies that I represented who looked like them. They asked no questions about the things that really matter. There were no questions about the quality of the goods or services of the employer. There were no questions about the company's training programs. There were no questions about promotional opportunities or questions about skill sets that were required to be successful. The first question they ask is whether there will be somebody at the company who looks like them. Man, that is the question of a coward. How lame can you get? Why in the world would I want to hire someone who's afraid to interact with people who don't look like themselves? Memo to ignorant diversity pimps. The country is getting more diverse, not less diverse. Every demographic study points to the fact that America in 2050 will be far more diverse than it is now. Tell your diversity pimping friends that they better man up and learn how to interact with people who don't look like themselves, or get ready to live the existence of a hermit. The first thing I think when I get a question of this nature is this: what a cowardly and self-centered approach to a job search, and more importantly, to life itself. What I want to say to these people is the following. You mean to tell me you only want to work around people who look like you? You mean to tell me you only want to work in a place that makes you comfortable? Do you seriously mean to tell me that Thurgood Marshall and the NAACP fought for 70 years to overturn Plessy versus Ferguson so you fools can reimpose segregation on yourselves and by extension the rest of us? Do you mean to tell me that Medgar Evers, Martin Luther King, and Abraham Lincoln got shot dead for nothing? Are we really about to reverse Brown versus the Board of Education without even a fight? Man, I'm sure glad Rosa Parks is willing to get uncomfortable that day on that bus in Birmingham in 1955. Man, I'm sure glad General Benjamin O. Davis is willing to go to West Point as the only black cadet and not be spoken to for 4 years by another cadet. Man, I'm sure glad Jackie Robinson was willing to be the first black major league baller and get cursed every day to break that color barrier. I'm so glad Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth didn't ask, hey, are there any black women in leadership roles in this Underground Railroad gig? What, no? Well, I guess I'll pass. I'm waiting for a gig with other black women who can serve as role models. Man, I'm sure glad Thomas Jefferson didn't say to George Washington, John Adams, and all the rest, hey, has this ever been done before? Is it safe to sign this declaration? Say what? Nobody's ever done this before? And we could get the death penalty? I'll pass on that gig. I mean, come on, really? What a sissy question to be asking. I only want to go to work or school with people who look like me? How boring can you get? I believe we Americans are made of better stuff than that. And I mean that no matter what the person's color or gender. I could just hear Neil Armstrong interviewing for that moonwalk gig back in 1969. Has anybody else ever done that before? What? No? Well, heck, I don't want that job. Or Christopher Columbus speaking to Queen Isabella. Say what, Queenie? Sail where? No white cat's ever done that before? Nah, girlfriend. I think I'll just chill out and sail around Europe and be safe hanging around people who just look like me. Think of the expiring tagline from the famous TV series and movie Star Trek. To explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before. Man, if these diversity pimps wrote Star Trek, that tagline would have been something like this: to stay at home in my room, to never leave my neighborhood, to only talk to people who look and think like me, to whimper, whine, and timidly go only where I've been before. Not very inspiring, is it? Kiddos, don't walk the same tired-ass path as the diversity pimps. Blaze a new trail so others can follow. Be like Captain Kirk, Dr. Spock, Scotty, Lieutenant Uhura, Bones, Sulu, and Chekhov. Hey, wow, you know what? It just occurred to me. They didn't look like each other at all. Each of them sought out a workplace where people did not look like each other. Amazing. Be a leader, show some courage, some guts, and some moxie. Time for a flat assertion. My instinct is that deep down inside, people who fall into the diversity trap are afraid. They're afraid to get into the arena and compete. These people are using their race and gender as a crutch and an excuse to hide their lack of confidence. Ain't nothing special about your skin color or your gender. Everybody on this planet has a heritage somewhere where their people got their rear end handed to them. Memo to everyone. Life is a killer for everyone. Nobody gets out of it alive. Poles, Armenians, Ukrainians, Nigerians, Uyghurs, American Indians, Appalachian whites, Chinese, Somalians, and Nicaraguans have all suffered historic beatdowns. And dude, their beatdowns didn't happen 150 years ago in some cases. A big can of whoop ass is being administered to a lot of these people right now. There are about 5 billion people on the planet who would gladly trade places with your black or brown derriere. About 4 million of them every year walk across deserts, hire coyotes, and ride on inner tubes across the ocean to get a piece of the pie that these diversity pimps don't even have the courage or good sense to eat. I ain't trying to hear these crybabies. And let's not forget about what drives real job satisfaction, and that is the execution of work itself. At the end of the day, the question you have to answer is this: did you thrill that client? Did you take care of that customer like you would want to be taken care of for your own mother? Is the world better at the end of the day because you got your rusty rear end out of the bed? At the end of the day, well, at the end of all your days, you ain't going to be the one asking that question. The one asking that question is already going to know the answer, and you will also know the answer. I'm just saying. Man, these companies aren't interested in your personal happiness, nor should they be. They are interested only in what you can do for them, just like you're only interested in what they can do for you. Period. End of story. It's a business relationship. I think Calvin Coolidge said it best. The business of business is business. The business of business ain't making your whiny butt happy. I can't believe my good fortune. I was born into a neighborhood where every kid I played with was black, with the exception of the one white kid and Japanese kid in our block. Then in the fourth grade, I was bused into a school where every kid was white, so I had to learn how to play with them as well. And one of the things I quickly learned was that melanin content does not equal character content. Man, every day is Christmas morning. I look under the tree every day and I see a bunch of packages. Melanin is just the package. Character, baby, that's the gift. Every day I get to open a bunch of packages and discover the gift of character. It's a surprise every time, and every day is Christmas morning. And man, what a sad handicap for those who can't function in the world where everyone doesn't look like them. How sad for those who troll about their existence trying to hang around people who only look like them. These people are like the kids on Christmas Day who keep the wrapping paper and throw away the gift. That's exactly what they're doing. Companies and schools that pander to this diversity nonsense are doing these people a gigantic disservice. Rather than helping people to develop a skill set that will serve them the rest of their lives, they're enabling these diversity pimps to wallow in their weakness and fear of those who don't look like them. This will be a handicap that will dog them for the rest of their days. Improvement will not be found in comfort. Greatness will never be found in fear. Ships are made for sailing, planes are made for flying, and human beings are made for transcendence. How can a ship sail if it never leaves the harbor? How can a plane fly if it never leaves the runway? How can a human being transcend if he never leaves the self-imposed limitations set by melanin content? On the other side of discomfort lies transcendence. I submit to you that a human being cannot transcend if he never leaves the limitations bounded by melanin content. It simply can't be done. Imago Dei, peace out. Bonus rant before I leave, almost forgot. The epitaph on the tombstone of the work person is going to say something like this: he sought comfort his whole life. Now he is having the same impact in that hole in the ground than he had when he was above the ground. So stop crying about the environment not making you happy. Master the skill set of being happy no matter the environment. I guarantee you, if you do that, you'll be happy all the time. I grew up moaning about the weather in Portland. I used to whine that it just rained all the time, which was true, it did. I've learned that the weather is never good or bad. It's how I choose to view the weather that counts. The weather is God's creation, and therefore it's always good. I love the weather now no matter what. My odds that the weather will be great is now 100%. I think the rain is amazing. I love the sound it makes on the roof, the sound of the car tires in the water, the sound of the rushing water in the creeks in our neighborhood. Sometimes I'm blessed to be in an environment where I'm the only black person in the room. Sometimes I'm blessed to be in an environment where there are only black people in the room. Sometimes I'm blessed to be in an environment where whites, Hispanics, Chinese, Cambodians, and blacks are all in a room at the same time. No matter the environment in which I find myself, I'm truly blessed because I try to surround myself with people of great character. Open the package, throw away the wrapping. The wrapping ain't important. Double peace out again. Thanks for listening. Imago Dei.